trying. Heavy hearts, dark times. Welcome to Waiting Since 57. It's Stu and Adam.
Heavy heart and dark times. I think that's the attitude that we're coming into this. I mean, I have two main questions, right?
Yeah.
Like, question one, why is this happening? And question two is, what have we done to deserve this?
Well, it's for anybody out there that's a fan of the show Community. That this may be the darkest timeline. It's I don't know, man. I mean, the reality is I can definitely see the deep soul searching after losing to 9 and the Vikings a handful of weeks ago. At least we didn't have any business losing to them. You know what I mean? The Rams are a good team.
It's a good team. And to be honest, I don't know if I really thought we were walking out of there with one. I'm sure I gaslit myself into thinking like we got as good of a chance as any other. And like the last time handling business with them it felt really great and right when we needed it. But this one worried me. So it's not an insulting loss, right?
No. Losing to 9 is dirty business, man.
Yeah.
Do you see that brother half gritty into the end zone this week?
He doesn't need to gritty into anything.
How did he become so unlikable? Like, and now, Grant, we're both Michigan guys, and I'm not like a big Michigan football fan. I want them to win, but I don't know anybody on the team. I don't follow it like that. And he seems to be, a hardworking kid, whatever.
It's a normal.
Next thing I know, he's got an alter ego. And his gritty on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, how did you feel about it?
The alter ego and the division rival. Well, rival. I don't know if it's a rival, but a division team.
Sure.
Those things kind of add up to just being completely unlikable.
But great, the gritty, man. What did you think about the gritty?
Whoa, why did my light just go out?
I don't know. I just put you full screen on my side, so maybe I messed up.
That's spooky, man. I got 9 all up in my business here.
This is what happens when you speak
taking
against
my
9,
lights out. Yeah. I don't know. Is it worse or better than Jameson Williams' booger flick?
I didn't see that. Is that why he's masking up while he's playing indoors? By the way, I love that.
He's got the shiesty on the entire time.
First of all, why is that the shiesty?
I don't know. I just
it's part of the zeitgeist though, because
I was asking my kid about that. Like, what is it? What is a shiesty? Hold on, let me try to fix my light.
Oh, I did see that. That was on a first down catch or something. Yeah, I couldn't tell exactly what he is, but he was booger picking. And then pretending to flick. Jameson Williams with an absolutely disgusting act as he pretends to pick a booger and flick it. What should his punishment be?
What should his punishment be?
What
What do you think it should be?
I think his punishment should be some games he gets 9 targets for 125 yards and a touchdown, and some games he goes 0 for 3 with a drop.
Yeah.
I think that's. I think
business as usual.
I think that's the. I think
just
that's
like
the deal.
I like my favorite part. The thing about this that made me laugh was, this is a pretty hyperbolic account, anyways, but it's not like should he be punished? It's what should the punishment be? There has to be some sort of
yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. It was. It was cool to see just from a usage standpoint, from a dorky standpoint. To me, it was interesting to see both, wide receiver 1 and 2 really get fed in that game. I mean, Amon-Ra looked fantastic again, even better than he did coming fresh off the sprained ankle. And then J-Mo, man. I mean, the guy's legit. The guy's legit. And, it obviously there's some fallout from losing Laporta as far as targets and where they're coming on the field and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, he's a real threat. He's a real threat.
So he's got, he's 10th in yards. I clipped that a little bit. But he's 42nd in targets and 48th in receptions. So that disparity between yards and receptions, and I got another one here for you that I thought. So look at this. So we can. Our freaking ticker is.
Oh, let me dump the ticker. I'm sorry. I think you hate the ticker. Let me get rid of the ticker.
I kind of hate the ticker.
Well, if you hate the ticker, I can get rid of the ticker, brother. Watch this. Bam. Talk to me.
Top 10. Amon-Ra and J-Mo both on there.
So such crazy stats. It's I'm actually gonna look him up too. I know this is not it's not the same thing as looking at real life numbers or stuff like that, but I am interested to see from a fantasy standpoint. I mean, he's the number 12 overall. He's wide receiver 12 in fantasy football, meaning there's only 11 wide receivers that have been more statistically productive. And that's crazy, because if you pull up his game log week after week, there's no way you would say that, because through the first 5 weeks of the season, he was basically drawing dead. But yeah, it is nice to be able to see them utilize both those guys, because sometimes you'll see like, oh, well, one guy's opening it up for the other. It's nice to see both of them ripping off some big plays, That was an interesting thing, and I think that something was a standout from this week.
That game was so crazy during the first half.
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, just all golf,
Dude, the guy was unreal, and the offense just looked terrific. Do you remember what the score was at the half? They put up a lot of points. Did they have 24 points in the first half?
Yeah, they put up a lot of points. I don't have the box score.
And I don't know if people are still throwing shade or not, but I will say this. It was I'm not like, I know Jake Bates kicks some really long field goals.
Yep.
But there's in my gut, I always feel like the guy's not as dependable as I need him to be, or I want him to be. And like sometimes he'll kick like these curve balls that doink in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I want that guy like I want that guy like Aubrey, who can just kick field goals from 70 yards away.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I thought I had one on the first half performance, but
it was 24-17 at the half. 24-17 at the half, and they just looked dynamite, man. They just looked dynamite. They really couldn't be stopped offensively. They had that disappointing first possession that ended with the missed field goal. A very makeable field goal, and I'm starting to get those old feelings again where I'm like, man, I'm feeling we probably could have used these 3 points in this game, because with a team like the Rams, with Stafford, Nakua, Adams, they're going to put up points, man. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that they're going to put up points. And so going for 3, I was fine with it right there, but you need those points.
Yeah. There was let's see here. I've got one. I don't know why. Oh, here we go. And the first half was just
he was unreal.
He was
unreal.
And so do you think that changing of the game plan to force Gibbs actually weakened, establishing the run more?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that kind of weakened the game plan, like the commitment to the, because 2 things can be said, right? Well,
yep,
it was working. Now,
yep.
Defense was, we can get to the defense in a few, but
the air quotes defense.
Yeah. The defense, but it was working. There was a I mean, they were clicking for sure. And what was it in the third quarter? This was all right. I thought this was a crazy piece of information here, but $5 yards in the third quarter. There's at one point it was like negative yards. So it was just like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the trying to, reestablish, and that's what Campbell said. They're really focused on establishing running on a 3rd and long,
I think that third and long play is what they'll typically, well, not that they'll typically run on 3rd and 9, but if they're running on 3rd and 9 on 3rd and long, that they're going for it. That's the plan. That's 4th down territory. Yeah, that's the plan. And they were just so flat coming out of the half. Now, and we've seen games like this with Gibbs. It seems like it's either feast or famine, and it just so happens a lot of times that it comes against teams that are good against the run up front, that scheme up smart stuff up front, and the Rams are very, very tough against the run. And all the offensive goodness was coming through the air. I do understand wanting to be able to start to eat clock. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. Was that when Montgomery got in the game and started pounding out some solid runs? Was that in the third quarter or not? Or was that in the fourth quarter?
I might admit that I had to get up and walk away for a little while,
Yeah.
So I didn't throw a sugar bowl against the wall. So some of that could have happened.
Yeah, there was some of that there, and that graphic that you just threw up. It 0-3. The explosiveness, right? When things are working, the guy's tearing it up, and that's not something that I'm putting on his shoulders. You know what I mean? Obviously, people can make adjustments and things like that, but that third quarter was absolutely brutal. Lions record by rushing success so far, greater than or less than, Stu? I'm not
greater
than 40% of rushing success, 6-2. Yeah. Less than 40% rushing success, 2-4. For context, over the previous 2 seasons combined, the Lions only had 5 games at or below 40% rushing success rate, going 4-1 in those games. They're going to end up addressing some of those O-line things. I was surprised by some of the pass protection. I don't have. I can pull up. I can pull up some of the stats on that as far as how many times Goff got sacked. He was sacked one time for 12 yards. But let me pull up the defensive stats. As far as QB hits, he was hit 8 times. That sounds unpleasant. So they were getting some shots on him, but there were frequently early in the game. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, this guy's got some time in the pocket, and it's just been such a crapshoot. It feels like with how much time he's going to be getting. But yeah, it just fell off a cliff, especially in the third quarter of the offense.
Yeah, there were some unpleasant things that happened in that game as well, officiating wise. Now you can always say you can't blame the refs, right? Like the game is up to you to win or lose at the end of the day. But there were no flags on Los Angeles that day.
Yeah, and it also, I think that's the second time it happened. I think it may have happened against Chiefs too.
You presume it's going to happen against the Chiefs.
Exactly. But yeah, and it's funny when if you track anything. I mean, the best way to get like feedback on what's going on in the games is by jumping on X and seeing what's being said, and reliably you're going to see some things from the Lions game, because those things always seem to happen to us. But there's stuff league wide that's crazy. And I was just reading some stuff where I think the referee contracts, bargaining contract is up at the end of this year, and they may be looking at adjusting some of those things. But we got stung on some of that stuff. And actually, you might know more than me. Yeah. So this is the big one. Barstool posts, air quotes, touchdown Rams here, NFL refs.
Nobody, the announcers weren't buying it. Dean Blandino wasn't buying it. Nobody was. The Rams coaching staff was shocked. Like.
First of all, how's he not going by Dino Blandino?
Great question.
I mean, how do you pass that one up?
I had to just smush it together. Just Blandino or Bland.
But yeah, there was this call. Not only was his knee down, but the ball was moving as he was sliding on the ground in the end zone.
And they were saying that it came loose and then he got it again. Yeah. That's just, it's wild. And what was I like the quote. Here. This was my favorite quote about it. From our friend Easy from Woodward Sports. Although I don't know, I'm not a real big fan of the Woodward Sports.
Sometimes they have some good stuff.
It was a touchdown because we said it was.
What are they? My mom and dad?
Yeah.
Like, what are we raising kids here? You know what I mean?
It's definitely.
It is because I say it is. Why do we have to go to bed
year of
now?
the refs.
They are.
Yeah. It is all about them at all.
It's so brutal. And there's been so many of those pool interviews. I saw a quote from them before where they said some receiver made a catch. Oh, it might have been against the Lions with Green Bay. And they were like, it seemed like the ball was moving on that touchdown catch. And they're like, but those guys, their hands are so strong. That's a catch. It's like, I don't know.
Maybe it was this one.
While the ball's still moving.
That was a touchdown.
Yeah, why not? And also, poor Brian Branch, he just stopped running on that one.
I had made a quote. I had made a comment on that one a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, why did he give up on that play? There are a few plays where the guys just kind of like stopped and just kind of walked out of bounds. Like,
he's a savage. Right. There has to be something. Absolutely tackle people and drill them. So yeah, there's something mentally happened there where something short circuited.
Speaking of short circuiting, I'm clicking all the wrong things in this and dropping you out and moving you around. So it's okay. We'll do it live, man.
I'm fine. We'll do it live. We're doing it live.
It's one of the pillars of the Waiting Since 57.
Do we have pillars as well?
We have pillars. We haven't had time to get into them, but we can get into them at some point.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, it's so I don't know. The other one that did make me laugh, and I had to like kind of slow the image down or the video down to try to get it, was when they absolutely laid JMO out in the end zone, like no flags on that one,
Sure.
Just kind of bodied him out of bounds. If you watch it live, but I like that. Oh, it's one way to slow down JMO.
Yeah. Is the ball even in the picture at this point? This is what I love. It's like that's how early it is. Or is that the ball straight above his hand?
I think it's straight above his hand. It doesn't even look catchable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, still. Oh, and that's something that I feel has really gone by the wayside when it comes to these PI calls. I feel like back in the day when they really started addressing it, one of the first things they started to tweak was, well, is the pass catchable? The pass is uncatchable, therefore it is not pass interference, third down. I remember stuff like that. I don't seem to see that stuff anymore, or even the question of whether or not the pass is catchable. And I think I'm not the only one that doesn't really know what's going on with that. Between pass interference, between what is a catch and what isn't a catch, it's puzzling. And you would think that an organization like the NFL, with the billions and billions and billions of dollars, should be able to deliver on something.
You would think so. The rules are really weird and seemingly amorphous, at times. And I like that there has to be an interpreter that has to ride, in a sidecar for the announcers to explain to them, like in legalese or whatever, exactly how or why the refs have ruled or arbitrated in a certain way.
Well, the best thing about that scenario is when the guy like lays it out and he's like, yeah, there's absolutely no way that's a catch. And then the refs are like, well, it's a catch. Mm-hmm. P.S. I'm loving your background, Stu. I'm loving your background.
So every week I think I move everything around just to see if I can get a better sort of setup. So I don't know if this is where we're going to land, but this is where we are at the moment.
Well, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. The fish are happy, but I had mentioned to you that I had a new coping mechanism for dealing with games.
Talk to me.
And it is, if I clean the house while I'm watching the game, it's like I don't have all of my energy focused into it. So if I have an activity that I'm doing, there is almost some like recouping, like costs on some level. Like,
yeah.
It's like, well, at least I didn't just sit here for 3 hours and then now I'm
It wasn't
miserable.
A complete loss.
Yeah, I got all this stuff done. This is great.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, I was out of I had finished all my cleaning by halftime, which is I should have started cleaning at halftime, right? But that one was a little bit of a bitter pill. What do you think? What do you think this defense is even going to be able to do? Like these next few games, it is just it. We got all we care about is getting into the playoffs. That's really kind of the end state. Mm-hmm. What happens to this team, or what happens if we don't get into the playoffs? Because I've got something with the odds here. I don't like looking at this sort of stuff. This is not. I don't like looking at it. right?
Well, I'm staring at it on the screen right now. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. This is a great graph, by the way. Who posts this, by the way? Because we've seen I've seen the same thing. Do you remember who posts this off the top? It's not.
No,
really
I don't even remember where I grabbed this from.
I've seen graphics like this on X. So this chart right here, green boxes are wins, the 3 remaining games. Red boxes are losses. If they win out, they go 11-6, and they have a 96% chance of making the playoffs. And it starts going down from there, really.
Really fast.
Yeah. The one win they have to have is against Chicago. They have to beat Chicago. And they could potentially handle a loss here. To say that we're even, hey, are we in the conversation for the division? No, that ship has really sailed. But I mean, they still could get in. I mean, the thing that's killing me though, and like you said, I mean, I'm full on in the same mindset that I was at the end of the year last year. And the difference with the end of the year last year is we had the completely decimated secondary, which we have again. But the ball kept bouncing their way. You know what I mean? They were fortunate to have that run out that they did. 15 wins is insane. That does not often happen. And then obviously it caught up with them in the playoffs. And, I mean, that was the thing that was always gnawing at me last year, when it was like, the secondary is going to eat it at some point. And I thought that was going to manifest in less wins in the regular season, but instead they just kept streaking and then fell apart in the playoffs. I think I remember talking to my dad and to my son last year about it. And, when they say, well, how do you think the Lions can win? And, it's shootouts. They're going to have to score. They're going to have to score.
Just overpower. Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to have to score high 30s, low 40s, and not against every team, because, if Minnesota plays poorly, they could put up, they could goose egg. That's all possible. Things like that. But I mean, they're going to give up a lot of points. Now, Pittsburgh, Minnesota are 2 offenses that I'm not particularly afraid of. Watch them go ahead and really hang it on us right now. But I think they're 2 very,
everybody can.
Yeah, they're 2 very winnable games, in part because the offense is so explosive. The final score, I mean, we scored 34 points against the Rams. That's usually leads to a fair amount of wins, unless you're the Bengals. You know what I mean? So we're definitely scoring those points, and in all the big offensive metrics since Dan's taken over, they're moving the ball. They're scoring a lot of points. It has to come on the back end of that defense. And, they just don't seem like they have the bodies back there anymore.
Well, against the Rams, run defense allowed 69% offensive rushing success. The single worst mark Detroit has surrendered in all 86 games of the Dan Campbell era, and the worst by the franchise since 2003.
Are you familiar with that metric, Stu? Offensive rushing success rate against?
No.
So basically what that does is it kind of compiles not just yards per carry, but it'll factor in situation. So a 3-yard rush on 3rd and 10 is worth less than a 3-yard rush on 4th and 2. Okay, so they'll weight it differently. So it's actually a really interesting.
Is it a meaningful or a less meaningful stat?
Oh, it's a really meaningful stat compared to yards per carry, for sure. And so it's more situation based and down based and things like that. Fascinating stat. And I mean, they've got beat. I mean, honestly, it doesn't shock me if the Rams are the best team in the league right now. I'm still not, and maybe this is just me being bitter, I can't believe that the Bears are the team that they're playing like right now. And maybe I'll be saying this on this podcast years from now, because that's the kind of legs this podcast is going to have. But I mean, when you go, I mean, the NFC is weird. Is weird with what's going on, and the AFC is too. I mean, Broncos just tied up number 1 seed. Patriots are sitting at 11-3. Jags are in the 3 spot for the playoffs at 10-4. Steelers 4, Chargers 5. A lot of wonky teams. Bills at 6. Weird stuff. Obviously, obviously KC's out of it, which I think anybody that has a soul feels good about. But I mean, we are still in a situation where if we sweep, we still have a fighting chance here. But it feels like a long shot, man. I haven't. This week's been a little bit bonkers. I haven't dug too much into the Pittsburgh stuff, but Pittsburgh is pretty universally a middling team.
Yeah, I've got the stats for the matchup there, but just to I think what like if they this kind of I felt like this kind of this summed it up for me, at least. Like this made me chuckle. Like we all have our villain origin stories.
Yeah.
Like I was telling a coworker earlier today who's a huge Bears fan. And he's always got a lot of very nice things to say about the the Lions, but I was explaining to him. I said, I love football, and I also hate football. I said, I'm in the. Next Sunday, Aaron Rodgers, and what's probably his last, like one of his last games. He's probably not coming back. But the last time we played Aaron Rodgers, he does something. He plays in a way that eliminates us from the playoffs.
Sure.
Out of some old hate, like
I think that's his lifeblood.
It's terrifying, like we know that the potential exists there. We've had his number before, but we don't have Kirby, we don't have Branch, we don't have any of the usual weapons.
And he hangs on, man. He's like it's like he's existing in half human form, simply sustaining himself on unicorn blood. You know what I mean? There's another reference for you that you may or may not like that I'm making, but it's a Harry Potter reference.
Oh yeah,
that was how Voldemort lived in the back of Quirrell's head.
I cannot believe you're doing this.
This is for you, baby.
This is your. It's not a heel turn. It's like this nerd turn. That is so hard for me to stomach. And I've gone completely the other way in the last,
I will not be pigeonholed. But yeah, and with Rodgers, I mean, the crazy thing is I mean, he's been semi decent. That Pittsburgh game, they have some weird pieces in there. They seem to be splitting that backfield between Jaylen Warren and Kenny Gainwell. I think they're two average NFL running backs. They're capable of hurting you. DK Metcalf has been a little banged up. He's obviously a big nasty dude. And Rodgers can still sling it. One of my favorite ones was there was a play where I think he's like in the huddle and then just produces a little thing of smelling salts. I love how smelling salts is such a thing everywhere now. And he just rips some smelling salts and then throws a bomb up the seam and throws a touchdown immediately or something like that.
I watched some of that game and he had some nice ball, like there were some really nice throws. But yeah, I mean, obviously Kenny G,
Kenny G, baby.
He's like their lead rusher at the moment, but he's splitting time. So there's not really a comparison there.
And I mean, Rodgers is still competent, and you're seeing him in year 2 off that Achilles injury, and as a guy that can attest to how long it takes you to bounce back from an Achilles surgery when you're 40. I'm still working on it, but year 2 off of that Achilles injury, he does look better. I do believe that was on his plant foot, and you see something similar with oh, who's the fella down in Atlanta? I almost said Kurt Warner, but Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Cousins, first year back, when you watched him, there was so much air under the ball he was throwing just because he wasn't able to drive off of that back foot coming off of that Achilles injury. So, Rodgers has looked much more like a competent NFL quarterback at this point in his career, which is really a heck of a hat tip. It's pretty unusual. It's pretty unusual. So he did get a kick out of. I do think he's occasionally funny. He seems just to enjoy trolling. And they asked him that when they were talking to the media, and they asked him what he thought about old man Rivers coming back to quarterback the Colts. And he had a quote. He goes, "Well, I'm not the oldest guy in the league anymore."
Yeah.
So he's a funny dude because he is a character, kind of a weird guy, but yeah, I mean, he can still sling it, man. He throws it further than Tua does, and Tua will take like a running jump and a hop and a crow step and whatever, and then heave it 35 yards. And
is Tua actually left-handed, or is he actually right-handed? He just doesn't know which way to throw it anymore.
Yeah, you could actually throw it further if you use your actual hand. But Rodgers can still sling it, man. It's really wild. I think between him and Stafford, just playing arm talent, those guys had guns. And Stafford's in a slightly different age. Not really. I mean, he's definitely younger, but those are two of the premier arm talents of that generation.
We talked about it last week. That pure pocket passer, that traditional. I think they've got the ability to last a lot longer. I thought this one was I liked this one. Philip Rivers pulled cleats from a trophy case and sent to use with the Colts after getting the call this week. The part of the reason he wanted to come back was to teach his kids not to live afraid or in doubt. This is the plot of Space Jam.
Also, the other thing that I saw was because he's been retired for almost 5 years or whatever. Apparently, his NFL insurance was going to time out in 2 months. And then so by coming out of retirement, I mean, that's a savvy move,
he juiced
man.
It a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen that guy. His name's he's like a millennial guy that does financial advice on YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that. He's like a young version of Dave Ramsey. But anyways, he's got a really huge following. And why was I talking about that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I was going somewhere.
You're off my algorithm so far. I need a map to find you.
I don't even know how this guy got on.
He's talking about financial decisions that Philip Rivers.
Oh yeah, that guy would love it. I think it's Caleb Hammer or something. Hammer feels like a weird last name for the internet, but who am I to judge?
I like who was it? Like Bobby Bonilla, his contract, or Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, Junior's contract just ended last year.
Yeah. These guys had it figured out. These guys had it figured out.
Getting paid to 2035. He's getting $1 million a year until 2035.
He's a genius.
It's awesome.
He's a genius. So yeah, I mean, so the river stuff is hilarious, and the steampunk bartender, the man that travels by air balloon, Cam Newton, was furious that he didn't get called. And it's like, bro, they can't.
He baited about himself for sure.
Of course, they can't handle you with your top hat with the top cut off of it, just so your dreads can breathe, man. The NFL's not ready for that.
But he was really, really good for.
Oh, he was awesome.
Yeah,
he was awesome. He was awesome. I always would have been interested to see. So, what if you got him on an offense you got him playing with Andy Reid, You know what I mean? Like just a really great offensive play caller, offensive mind. I mean, that's my thought with a lot of people, and this might be heresy for all the Lions fans out there, but it's one of those situations where it's like, what if? And I'm not saying, but what if instead of Pat Mahomes going to KC that year, it was the year that Joey Harrington was getting drafted, and Harrington goes to that team. Would Harrington be like a long-term starter in this league with a talented team around him and a good play caller? Now, you can tell me I'm crazy, but part of me believes that there would be some level of confidence that guy would be able to bring to the table.
I imagine that it is a combination of all of those things. Man, I feel so good thinking about like Joey Harrington, like getting a chance, and like that smile of his, like,
and just playing the piano to cut loose a little bit. You know what I mean?
Cool.
I've just never been myself more than when I'm playing the piano. That is not a Joey Harrington quote, but it could have been.
You take the other side of that coin, the dark side of that coin. I was on Charles Rogers' Wikipedia page not too long ago, just like kind of remembering, and it's like, man, that was
you were redefining rabbit hole right there.
He had to like pay money back. Like,
yeah,
gosh.
They're like, hey guys, this turned out so poorly. I need to give you money back.
You guys, you're gonna have to give us money back for everything.
Yeah, that was rough. That was rough.
So all right, so we saw the head-to-head here. Let's take a look at let's take a look at how the offense matches up here. Boom.
Yeah.
Lions are, I mean, yeah, it will be overwhelming. It will be well, hopefully it is.
Yeah. Is there's a line on this? Do you want to pull it? Can you leave the graphic up and I'll chat about this? And can you pull up the line on this game? I'd be interested in seeing the over under.
I've got I've got it. It's
okay, cool.
Yeah, so Lions are getting 6.5.
6.5.
The 51.5.
51.5. It's a pretty high total point total on that. Yeah, I mean, you can see right here. You look at the Steelers offense, and they're toward the bottom of the league, bottom third, really. Total yards, passing yards, rushing yards, points 13th. Third down numbers 14th, and the Lions are really just on another level comparatively, though. I mean, I'd be interested. It's going to be interesting. I think they're going to. This is inside, right? I think they're playing in Detroit.
Yes, they are. My nephew's going to be at that game.
Oh, nice.
I was gonna. I a couple weeks ago, he's like, I'm gonna be there. I got some seats. You should see if there's anything available. And I looked, and it was standing room only. Is that a thing at Ford Field? You can get a standing room seat.
Like, it sounds like a scam.
Yeah, and it was like it was like $400. I was like, what is this? Like, no.
It's insane.
No,
it's
but
insane.
he had bought the tickets a while ago. But yeah, no, that's here. They gotta win this one.
Yeah,
they've got to.
And they really can. Honestly, they really could. And I think they're gonna go 2-1 over the final three.
If this is October, we're not even thinking about this game. We're already thinking, down the road.
Well, and the funny thing is, if back then we'd be saying, okay, the Bears game is going to be a walk in the park. That's going to be a joke. That's an easy dub. And then we're like, I would have been sweating the Vikings. You know what I mean? Those two games would have been flipped as far as what's scaring me and what doesn't. From a defensive standpoint, total yards, they're not good. They seem pretty similar to the Lions. Lions are a little bit better than them. They give 381 yards up on the ground, 242 passing, 120 rushing. They're a little more stout against the rush, but it's still kind of bottom third in the league. Points 18th, and what they do on they're very forgiving on third down, which is nice. Yeah, I think you're gonna see us score a lot of points. It would not shock me if they score 40 points in this game.
So
Honestly, it would
do you
probably
think-
surprise me more if they don't score 40 points in this
Do
game.
you think that it's Gibbs early and often in this one, trying to establish him as kind of the whatever the waymaker, so to
Yeah.
speak, of the game, because the game plan seems to be focused around him
Yeah.
in order for them to win. So he's got to get his 3 chomps.
Yep.
You know,
I'm going to be interested to see what Dan does with this, because part of me says that they went away from what they were doing with great success in the first half through the air, and they went away from that in the third quarter. This would not surprise me if they lean into the pass and then try to build the lead and then run through that. I wouldn't be shocked to see them really lean on that portion of the game, feeling as if they can blow the doors off. That's going to come down to how they feel they match up with that Steelers secondary. But looking at the numbers you can see on the screen right there, I have a feeling they're going to be able to figure some things out. It wouldn't shock me if they're really, really airing the ball out in the first portion of the game, and then looking to kind of grind him down in the second half. That would kind of be my gut on the direction he's going to be going with that. I don't think you get him off of what they had last time with the split between St. Brown and Montgomery. And I'll say again, my son and I were watching this game, and I just think there's something, and again, his numbers have been great. I don't remember seeing Goff throw so many balls that are not tight spirals. And it was on one of them. It was either behind JMO or behind Gibbs that was thrown this game, and some of them were even hauled in. But you see that you see that spiral coming in, and it's not quite like an end of career, like dead duck Peyton Manning kind of situation, where he was almost throwing the ball end over end like a punt. But something's not right with his ball, and it's not a situation where he doesn't have a clean pocket and he's getting hit, and so the ball's coming out weird. I would not be shocked if he's banged up in some way, shape, or form with that hand. And this isn't the glove or anything like that. But I think the last 4 weeks I've seen more wonky spirals come out of his hand, and it's not all the time. And clearly, I mean, he's putting up numbers. But I do. My gut is there's something wrong with that hand or with that arm, that elbow. There's something going on where that ball's not coming out right all the time.
Did you see Goff's quote today?
No, what did he say?
He went on 97.1, which is and the fans down the Lions. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. I don't need to reinstill faith in anyone. It pisses me off a little bit to hear that, but yeah, we got to win this first one.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of spiciness. You see Montgomery's face.
Yeah.
And his, I hate how these guys are so dumb sometimes, but they do the vague posting.
Yeah.
Tweeting, like, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
If
I'm honest though, if I was a pro athlete, I'd be doing that all the time. I would be. I would. It's not that I'm not now in my current station in life, but I would be a prima donna, man. I don't know if I would wear diamonds on the field. Actually, you can weigh in on that. Would I be wearing diamonds on the field if I were in that situation?
I think about this constantly. I think about this constantly because, who is it? My guy, Cam Scatterbo. It's like saying everything's fake,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, just fake stuff. We know everybody knows he's got a bunch of money,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
but are you going to go back and talk to like the grounds crew because a diamond came out of something,
yeah, yeah,
and he's like
yeah.
looking at the necklace in the mirror, and he's like, like something popped out
One
on
of
the
these came
fields.
out.
Like, who's going through the field and raking up all the diamonds and gold after these, these games?
I appreciate you giving the grace, saying that that if I were in that situation, because in college I was the guy. So I was not like a football guy. I was not like a football player, but I was somebody that did not mind putting an X on my back, and irritating and being a bit of a provocateur. So now that I'm always taking dumps on these dudes that are being too flashy on the field with what they're wearing, sometimes I think maybe if I were younger, I would be that guy too.
So
maybe it's just self-hate.
In college, what did you, when we played intramurals, what position did you play?
I played wide receiver. And then corner. Yeah. Okay. And then I would also do so we would always go to Gabe's and get the uniform t-shirt. So Gabe's was a not secondhand, but like
TJ Maxx,
and there's like extra stuff. Sometimes you buy a pants and one of the pant legs is sewn shut or something like
irregulars.
That. Irregulars, exactly. So that was in the days where you always cut the sleeve off. Sleeves came off, baby. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that the cuff on the bottom of the sleeve,
the Ultimate Warrior thing. Yeah,
I could cut that sleeve off and then strip that up and turn it into like Ultimate Warrior style tassels and wear that around the bottom of the knee and then up under
your huge biceps.
Between the deltoid and the non-existent bicep. So it really required a good fit, you know what I mean? But I would do things like that, and then where the one year I had that Gonzaga shirt that was 00 and said Nancy on the back, just so somebody would say something, so I could say something back. So, big picture, if I were in the situation, I would probably be that guy too. I probably can't say too much about it.
I love it, and I think that the players that we probably gravitate towards are the players that represent kind of how we like to conduct. Because I remember in intramural, the only thing I liked was halfway getting into fights with guys, I liked all the kind of the bumping and pushing and the hitting and maybe some of the dirtier stuff, so those are the guys that
the glory days.
It's glory, very glorious. I did find my cleats the other day from Gabe.
Oh no, you have everything, man.
Not anymore. I'm getting rid of a ton of stuff, but I find pockets of stuff because I'm cleaning everything out of my parents' place. But so that's funny. So I think we're feeling kind of bullish on the Steelers game. We've only got they don't make the playoffs. We've got 4 games left. We got our Christmas holiday spooktacular, right? With the Team Light versus Team Dark, as the Vikings are wearing their all whites, which is going to be a very aesthetically pleasing game. And 3 times this season, the black uniform. So I think they only did it twice the last 2 seasons.
Okay.
Still undefeated in the black uniforms.
Yep. They better be dusting those boys off every week at this point.
You know which black uniform I loved this season was the Dolphins. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't know if I saw that.
Man, that was sweet. You got to look that
twins,
up.
The twins and Jared, they're I call them unibros.
Yeah,
they love they're always weighing in on the uniforms. I'm gonna have to check out that black.
We don't have to mention those guys anymore. Are you familiar with the term diminishing returns?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we've got from our friends, right? Like everybody was like, we like what you guys are doing. I listen, and then, I'm a few behind. I like to. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Brother, we got 2 live right now, man. We got 2 live right now. You never know. You never know
Yeah,
who's creeping in there.
we're the 2 live crew, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we've got a few more weeks to see. In a month in January we could be, back in the unemployment line for all
Sure.
we know.
Yes.
I've got some ideas for
Mhm.
what we do after this, but what's your vision for this podcast in the off season?
I think there might need to be just one podcast where we cry. For all of you, just so everybody knows, it very easily could have been this podcast, at least for me today. But we're holding off on that. So yeah, if it completely goes down the drain, maybe something emotion fueled, something with a lot of highs and lows. And then one of the things that I really love doing, I love tracking the off season stuff. I love tracking. I love tracking the prospecting stuff, combine, Senior Bowl. I think Senior Bowl is underrated. I think we're going to have to go back and do some kind of year in review, positional grades, maybe some grades on some of the bigger name players and coaches, some things like that. And then, I would also love to do breakdown stuff on directions that they can be going in free agency, in the draft, because for so long free agency, the draft for us was our Super Bowl. Yeah. You know what I mean? And now that we do have to admit the Lions are a competitive football team, where we're not in the cellar, right? You know what I mean? So, where it's that thing of, can you get over the hump? And yeah, I mean, the reality is if we miss the playoffs this year, end up third place in the division, it may really fundamentally change how that schedule looks for us next year. And we may be getting a little bit more friendly schedule, even though it looks like this division is going to be tough for a while.
Right.
But yeah, and I know we had talked about doing some deep dives on some Lions greats, and stuff like that. So there's a whole range of stuff that we can be doing. So that's for me. And I mean, so for me, the off-season stuff is where I do my work, because I do all this stuff just for fantasy football. And so a lot of the prospecting stuff that I dig into, it helps for my Lions fandom, but it really just fuels the fantasy side stuff. And tip of the hat to Stu, who's been steamrolling the league. But yeah, that's some of the stuff where I feel as if I really get an edge, big picture when it comes to playing that game. But it's something that also makes just kind of being a fan of the NFL as a whole a little bit more fun for me too.
I love the off season too. There's safety in it. There's fun. Fun, like talking and kind of spitballing and theory crafting who we're going to take. The draft is a ton of fun, depending on where we get to draft. But
sure. It's slipping here as we go.
Slipping, yeah. But right now is a great time to be a fan of Detroit sports.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, all right, sure, maybe we have a couple of off weeks where maybe it's, maybe we're waiting since 2004. Right?
Yes.
Because I don't know what you know about Cade Cunningham. I don't know what you know about Isaiah Stewart. 21-5 Pistons are currently, owning the East right now.
Yes.
But this is the best team we've had since 2004.
Yeah, we need it. By the way, excellent use of that logo there. I love it. Waiting since 2004.
Yeah.
I would be. I might be interested in.
We'll do a couple of. We'll do
an
occasional one-off when things start heating up with. When things start heating up with the Pistons, but you do have to put your Pistons hat back on and get up to speed on these guys.
Yeah.
Especially, there's a lot of trade talks going on right now, and I don't know how I feel about that, but also. My first love was it it wasn't the Lions and it wasn't the Pistons. My first love was, of course, the Tigers. And we've been waiting since 84.
Bro, you're crushing it.
We've been waiting since 84 for this. Trammell, Chet Lemon, Lou Whitaker, Kirk Gibson, like all those guys. We got real close. Happy birthday today to Jim Leyland. You know, he's not smoking cigarettes in the dugout right now, but he was one of the coolest coaches we've had, right?
Yes.
But, you know,
yes.
today's his 81st. I
Dude,
feel like he was
great,
81. Man. He was 81 back in 2000 and, you know,
just building out just building out the Waiting Sense franchise.
It's the Waiting Sense verse. Now,
yeah, that's
I could do one for the Red Wings, but man, I have not ever watched. I don't know anything about hockey. It's just not my thing. But I'm sure, like a sick octopus, you know, logo.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, it's actually that is interesting because the NBA season will be ramping up, and so we might have to expand into the. What do you say with the Adam Makes Beer thing? What do you call that when it's under the mantle or the umbrella?
Yeah. I don't remember. I had a term for it. It's like the Adam Makes Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
You know?
The Adam Makes Cinematic Universe. Yeah. So this could be the Waiting Sense Cinematic Universe. Yeah. I really might be down for that.
We've just been waiting for that. We've been waiting for a lot of things for a while, but you know, having competitive teams, in three sports, competitive teams that are in the playoffs, or you know, the Lions or the Tigers crushed it early in the season. The Pistons are crushing it right now. The Lions have been really good. It is the best time, and you know, like this is not a bit or a gimmick where I'm wearing Detroit gear. You know, on this podcast, this is 80% of my wardrobe at this point. It's just, I'm just, you know, different pieces of Detroit gear. You got to keep the coldest and the freshest looks when you're out there. You know,
that's right. Well, my folks just got me a custom black hoodie. So it looks similar to that. So it's a black hoodie. It's a little bit of a bluer line. I can't quite tell from the video on yours. But then on the back is that black?
Yeah, this is the black line on there. It's kind of a nod to the black uniforms.
Absolutely. And so I got the name as Waiting Sense, and then the number is 57. So I got cool. I got a podcast hoodie now, man.
That's really cool.
So yeah, I have that coming under the Christmas tree this year. So you know what I'll be wearing after Santa comes. But yeah, man, I
really like this. I'm sorry.
I love it, dude.
I keep coming back to this one. These all as a theme work so well.
The Waiting Sense Cinematic Universe. I'm loving this, man. I think we're onto something. If you just need to be able to keep feeding me painful posts off of X, and we'll be able to keep this thing rolling.
It's a never-ending supply of that. That's for sure.
You got anything else topically this week, Stu?
No, I don't. I don't think I do.
All right. Yeah, man. I think big picture. I think if we can, my gut is telling me we're gonna get 2 out of 3 as we wrap this up. I don't know how I feel about Chicago outdoors in December.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me pause you there. I might have something. So this one. What if?
Yeah, baby. Listen, he was wearing women's glasses in the last game. I saw something about that. But listen, I really hope he gets fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because one thing about him is, and you can say what you will about some of the up and down success stuff right there from an offensive standpoint. The guy's pretty dynamic. I think he's probably a top 5 play caller in the league, and I do think Dano wants to have somebody that does that. So please,
has he got connection with this guy?
That I was wondering if they had overlap when Dan was in Miami. So that's my guess that there might be. You might need to double check that, but
Yeah,
I would do that in
and
a heartbeat, dude.
and do the threads. Yeah, I'll make fun of him all day, but once he's our guy, he's our guy. You know,
Dude, what? Listen, this is the reason why. One of the reasons why Aaron Glenn does not catch heat for his capris. He's one of ours, man. You know what I mean?
I don't hate him.
No,
You
I don't
know?
hate him. Now, I mean, what's his name is more hateable. Ben Johnson is more hateable. You know, like that dopey smile he had when he was talking smack on coach from Green Bay. I'm forgetting his name. I only want to say McVay, but
LaFleur, yeah.
LaFleur, yeah, LaFleur. But anyways, yeah, I think we're getting a win against the Steelers. Shootout. I'm gonna go 42-33. Big point. We're giving up big points, but baby, we're dealing out big points as well. So that's my call. That's how I feel about it. And we'll see on the playoffs, baby.
Yeah, I think I might take the under. I don't know if it's going to go that high. I would like it. I'm thinking maybe 31-17. You know, I still think it's going to go. I think it's going Lions, but I don't think it's going to be as high. I feel like it's going to be white knuckle, unless if they start off real hot and it just roll and click. But I feel like this team has got to be getting pissed, got to be getting a little bit, salty. They're going to be hopefully playing with a little urgency. And then, we'll see what happens in the offseason if we could scoop up one of these disgraced head coaches,
I need a 30-point win. And I know that sounds selfish, but I need a 30-point win. I feel like I need things to break in that direction. So
I still need to know what Jameson Williams' punishment is going to be for that Booker flip.
I'm gonna put some thought into that. I've got some time. I've got a little flying that I'm doing, and apparently I only watch things that Matt Damon is in when I fly. Apparently I've got a real Matt Damon thing.
Yeah.
But I just
how many hours have you put into We Bought a Zoo?
0. Oh wait, I think I saw some of that. I don't think I saw the whole thing, but I did just watch Born Identity, man, and it was awesome. I don't care what anybody says. Born Identity was awesome. And if you hate flying and want to forget what's happening around you, dude, get on that Born Identity.
All right.
That's me.
We'll wrap it up.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. We appreciate you joining us. Appreciate the comments, the watches, the shares, all that good stuff. We'll be catching up with you next week. We're rolling into Christmas, baby. We're rolling into Christmas. We appreciate you watching, being here with us. And from Adam and Stu, we'll catch you next time.
Still waiting.
Still waiting. Still waiting. I was not prepared to shut down the stream.
You got to stop it.